Hi, and welcome to the seedy underworld of duct tape and daddy issues. For those who are watching on YouTube, I'm not sure why I'm looking green and purple, but I'll get my roving tech of AK Black and Red, who is my husband and my technical advisor, to sort it out. For those of you who are just listening in the podcast, nothing for you to worry about. So this week I'm going to be reading by myself, but next week I will be having the wonderful Fiona with me. So this week I'm going to read you the introduction from the book Duct Tape and Daddy Issues by Dickens. And if you feel like you want to purchase the book and read along, it might be an idea, because I'm sure in future episodes there's going to be a lot of giggling. So in this introduction, we are going to find out about why I did it, who I am, and where it all began. So buckle up. Here is the introduction to Duct Tape and Daddy Issues by D. Dickens. Dear reader, let me introduce myself. My name is Dee Dickens, and as well as being a student, a writer, a poet, a mother, and a wife, I am a sex worker. Sex worker conjures up an image. Whore, hooker with a heart of gold, streetwalker, call girl, fur coats, no knickers, leaning against the wall in a dark and dirty city alley. Madam Sin, Christine Keeler, the criminally young Jodie Foster in Taxi Driver. Joanna Lumley in Shirley Valentine. Whatever springs to your mind, I promise you the reality is nothing like the telly. We've all heard the rhetoric around sex work, how no one ever chooses it, that it's only ever because of low economic status, that no little girl ever dreams of being a sex worker. But what can I tell you? As a small child, I either wanted to be a sex worker or an opera singer. We listened to an awful lot of opera in my early years. My parents played it to us in our cribs. I was enthralled, still am, by Maria Callas. She had an incredible voice, incredible coats, and incredible presence. I used to parade up and down singing arias and pretending I was on my way to my yacht post-concert, feeling glam and fabulous, even in my pining for Aristotle Onassis, who had just left me for the frigid American widow. I had quite the immersive imagination. Do you know what? I'm leaving that in. I had quite the immersive imagination as a child. Maybe I was always destined to be a writer. Maria was a diva, the diva. And as a child who always felt like an ugly duckling, she was something to aspire to. La Divina was not a conventional beauty. She just had something about her. I wanted to be like that. As for wanting to be a sex worker, I'd seen them on childhood Saturday night treat Kojak. And though I didn't know exactly what it involved, they looked exotic and self-sufficient, badass. They were beautiful to me and had someone who really cared about them. Yes, I understand about pimps now and how they are not a good thing, but my life has always been held together by duct tape and daddy issues, so I knew no better. Besides, I really like the shoes. I still really like the shoes. Not that I wear them for work now. It's usually PJs, messy hair, a cat in tow, and unbrushed teeth. I am a real catch. You have questions, I know. Once they get over the initial shock, everyone does. That initial shock can be funny as hell too. My dad asked if I was making good money. My mother-in-law straight up screamed. Then she made me a packed lunch for my train journey home, so I think she still loves me. My sister was just worried about how I pay my taxes. They all wanted to know the same things though. How did I get into it? Why did I get into it? When did I get into it? How do I do it without laughing? Grab a cuppa. This may take a little while. It all began in the summer of 2018 when I was turned down for a job at cheap supermarket Lidl. Yes, that Lidl, where the staff seemed to be asleep or brain dead most of the time, that Lidl. And they didn't want me. This is a bit embarrassing when you think about it, really, as I've worked in retail, hospitality and customer service for 30 plus years. I am very intelligent and I'm a hard worker. To be fair to them, though, if I'd read the responses I gave to their psychometric bullshit tests, I wouldn't have given me an interview either. I answered honestly, which was a massive mistake, as it means that I answered like someone who was used to dealing with a well-unionised workplace. Based on some of the questions they asked, I am assuming that Lidl is not a well-unionised workplace. I probably scared the crap out of whoever had the thankless task of reading my application, and I make no apology for this. I believe that workers are the means of production and that we should be organising to make our lot better together. Join a union, folks. I have. Oh yes, sex workers have a choice of unions, and I am a proud member. No pun intended there. So where did that leave me? Broke. Like proper noodles and ketchup broke. Being a student is difficult enough financially. In the summer, it's a killer. You still have rent to pay, you still have to eat, and you're still absolutely exhausted physically and mentally. I know that us students have a bad reputation for only getting out of bed to eat noodles and beans, but this could not be further from the truth. Sure, there are those who only fall out of their pits to party or watch Jeremy Kyle, but most of them are conscientious, thoughtful, and up to the eyeballs in depression and neurosis. I've just finished my second year on campus and many, many other attempts. Hang on, that doesn't make any sense. I've just finished my second year of, here we are. See, this is going to happen until I get the flow of this. Right, where were we? Apart from the fact that in real life now, I finished my undergrad, I finished my master's, and I've just started my PhD. But I digress, back to where we were. I've just finished my second year, and we have had 2 deaths by suicide on my campus, and many, many other attempts. If the government want people to apply to university and get good grades, education should be free. As it isn't, then the student loan should be quarterly and enough to live on. I have opinions on this stuff. If students are going into debt anyway, it might as well be for an amount that would actually keep them alive and able to concentrate on their studies. But where was I? I was broke. I'd written a couple of books, but as I was yet a million miles away from the Brooker Prize shortlist, still am, I wasn't making anywhere near enough to pay rent and bills, etc. I wasn't making enough to buy a coffee, to be honest, and though I love that I sold any copies of my other books at all, if I wanted to eat, I would have to make more than £2.26 per month in royalties. Starving for your art is over-romanticised and overrated. I live in an age of internet and Wi-Fi, not freezing garrets and laudanum candles or whatever. And though there was a part of me who thought that dying of consumption, Puccini's La Boheme style, would have some sort of artistic beauty to it. In reality, I don't even like having a cold, so I did what any self-respecting student who likes eating does, and I hit my dad up for some dosh. Now, unlike my 2 sisters, I had never asked my father for anything before. For some reason, probably to do with my autism, I was always proud of the fact that I hadn't, but fuck it, he hadn't had to pay for university for me like he had my brother, and that had to be worth something, right? I gathered my wits and failing pride around me and Skyped him. Wouldn't you know it? The first time I asked him for anything, my usually minted dad didn't have any money to bung my way as he's building a house in Tobago. Because of course he is. Why wouldn't he? Apparently, it is for us kids after he is gone. Honestly, I would rather have the cash now, but there you have it. I made a joke to him that I would end up talking to dirty old man on the internet for money, and he was outraged. Though it should be noted, not outraged enough to get his checkbook out because, you know, house in Tobago, that I will never see because I'm too broke. It is his money though, so it is up to him what he does with it. Hopefully, one day I will make enough of my own to build a house. I doubt it though. Should I ever have that much money, knowing me, I will probably spend it on shoes, coats, and a fabulous yacht for pining after a Greek shipping magnate on. Not sure what my husband will think of that, but he knows me well enough by now to expect it. As is often the case because of my nature, the more I thought about it though, the more I thought that actually it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. I wondered how hard it could be. I was good at drama at school. The only reason I didn't end up with an O level in it was because I was busy playing pregnant teenage harlot after a council flat when I should have been learning soliloquies. This spontaneity is also how I ended up being a ring card girl for the World Kickboxing Championships, drunk skinny dipping in the River Avon in December, and riding a horse along Breen Sands in the middle of the night. I'm impulsive, and I have an overdeveloped sense of fun and adventure. I also have a deep, sexy voice, so I'm told. And I understand man, the cute, simple creatures that they are. So I did some research, chose a persona, created a backstory for her, and went to work for a phone sex company for the princely sum of 12 pence per minute. I have always had an open mind. My sexual tastes are, shall we say, varied. And I've never kink shamed. For who am I to take the piss out of anyone for what floats their boat? However, there are things I have heard, things I have been asked to do, just things where I earn my money simply by not laughing. Unless it is at the man who likes me to literally guffaw at his penis. That was a good day at work. More of that later. What I soon realised is that for every type of strange folk out there, there are some sweet ones and some rather scary ones. I realised that every single caller has their own story, and it would be selfish of me to keep them all to myself. Plus, I am broke, and it really would help me out to write a bestseller. I have shoes and coats to buy, and out of everything that sells, sex is at the top of the list. So here are the heroes and villains, the sweet and the unsavory, all in their unabridged morning glory. I hope you enjoy them. I have changed the names just in case, but every word of this has happened. Yes, really. Even the stories of Howling Wolf and Microwave Boy. So grab the lube and butt plugs, get ready, strap yourselves in. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And that is all for now. Next time, and I'm not sure when that will be. I think I'm going to do these quite quickly because I am actually really enjoying reading to you. Next time I will be joined by the wonderful Fiona, who was one of the amazing women who kept me going through the night every now and then when I'd be like, I don't know if I can do this. So join me next week. I haven't decided what day yet, But if you subscribe either to the YouTube or to the podcast on your normal podcast provider, we are also on Spotify, then you'll be notified as soon as the next chapter comes up. In the meantime, one of the things that will help keep this going, and maybe stop for the YouTube viewers seeing me all green and purple, I'm kind of digging it now, is if you join my Patreon. My Patreon listeners will be able to ask questions of me, which I will answer on the podcast every week. And any question is fine. I will answer anything you want to know. So join my Patreon, and that's patreon.com/ddickens. And until then, I will see you for the next chapter. Bye bye.